What's up everyone? Welcome to my new channel, and this is my first video of this channel. I hope you support me. So today I'm going to be showing you how to draw Cyclops. For today's lesson I'll be using Staedtler's pencils 2B, 4B and 6B. 2B pencil I'll be using to draw the basic outline, and then 4B and 6B I'll use to shade inside the character, and the paper I'll be using is 120 GSM of a normal sketchbook size. So first, to get to know the exact position where a character is going to sit on the paper, we need to cast a straight line in the middle of the page. As you can see how I'm doing, it doesn't need to be perfect, it just needs to be visible to our eyes so that we can understand where the character is going to sit. If you are like me, using drawing in a sketchbook, you should draw the horizontal line slightly above than the middle, as it will look more good, as the sketchbook is in a rectangular shape. Now from the middle, let's step up, draw the equal length line at the bottom as well on the side. This will be useful for casting a circle. As you can see, my measurements aren't correct, and then after that I drew a circle. If you're like me, you're not perfect at drawing circles, you can use geometrical instruments, or you can take help of a bowl, a cup, or anything circular. I recommend you people to have a sharpener and an eraser as well at the side. So now we take a 2B pencil and let's start sketching. So now we need to draw more guidelines as well. So to for the guidelines of the face shape, we draw straight lines on the other sides of the circle. So remember, it needs to be slightly straight, not that perfect as well. And then we need to understand where our forehead, our glasses are going to end, so that we need to draw a straight line at the bottom of the circle. So remember, it doesn't need to be that perfect as well. So now, as this Cyclops has the glasses or visor, we need to draw that curve from the edge of the circle to the ends of that line. So remember, it doesn't need to be perfect, as this is only the stage 1 of our drawing. Now we need to continue the same curve below. Remember, the angle of the curve should be same, as it will look like it's one piece but not two pieces. Remember, it should be like a smooth curve as you progress. Now we need to connect these two curves with another small curve, and on both ends. After we have done that, that will be our visor, and from that we need to step up between the center of the circle and the below. And then I just drew the small guideline so that it will help level it out. Now we need to draw a curve, but it should look like a curve and a V shape mixed together. So as you can see, you can do that as well. Then we need to gently shape it out so it doesn't look that harsh. For that, then we curve it down. So this is going to be the outer layer of the glasses. It should look pretty thick and boldy. Then we do the same thing on the other side. Then as you can see, I'm going back and forth realigning the shape of the curve. If you are like me and you can't align it properly, you can draw as many guidelines as your wish, and then you need to connect the lateral curves together. Remember, the space on top of the outer layer and the inner thing should be same. As you can see, if you take any glasses, the bottom shape is like a W, curve W. So we need the same shape down so that it will look nice and simple. So we do the same procedure, but as you can see I'm going back and forth shaping it out. So we need the curve to be really smooth, but it's okay if you don't get this perfect. This is only stage 1, you can realign it later. Now we step down. This is going to be our nose. So as you can see, I'll be showing you the measurement as well. If you want to take the measurement, it's going to be the pencil sharpened area. Now our nose is going to be in a V shape. For that we need to take like a V shape, a structure, whatever, draw it out, then step down. Now draw this line. This is going to be where our lips is going to sit, and then that is going to be our lower lip, and then we draw the end of the end of the head. Now see, you can see my line is not perfect. You can go back and realign it later. Now if you see any cartoon character, anime character, they all the masculine structure have a really sharp forehead, sharp jawline. For that we need to cast the same thing as well over here. Now we need to leave the bottom part flat, and then we will shape that out later. The bottom part is like the chin. Then I didn't do it properly, but it's all right. You can erase it and do it later. So in drawing we need both the sides symmetrical. So the chin should be broad so that we get the structure same. Now we need the now we'll shape out the edge of the faces as well. We just need to bring that in like a small slope. It'll help our face. It'll help the symmetry of the faces. Very nice. Now to hold the mask, this character has like two bands at the side of his head. For that, let's draw two straight lines. Now we need to draw ear muffs or ear holders for the ears. As you can see, it's just two lobes from the center of the circle till the end. It's two small lobes, that is enough, and it should connect to the mask, so it will look connected together. Now that is the basic structure of our head. Now we need to draw the throat or the neck. So all the masculine structures have a really wide neck. For that we need to connect the neck from the glasses till the end. Then we need to just angle the neck out so that in actual human beings you can see it angling it. You can see the angled out structure in the neck. After you have done that, we will go and then draw our shoulders. Because my book is small, it doesn't need to be you don't need to fit everything in small space. You just need to fit how much ever you can. So that's why I'm not drawing everything inside. Then now after we've done the basic structure, we will erase the guidelines. Now that is stage 1 of our drawing complete, the basic guidelines. And then let's make sure that there is no eraser pieces or eraser dust, as if we draw on that it will mess up our drawing. So neatly but slowly, please erase your drawing very neatly. Then if you've done mistake like me or erase the main structure, you can just go over it and make it into just retrace it again. So using a fresh eraser or needed eraser is good, but needed eraser needs a lot of maintenance to clean it up. That's why using a fresh eraser with sharp edges for drawing like these is really nice. Now as you've seen, I've almost erased all the guidelines necessary. Now it's okay if we have two or three guidelines sticking out over here. Now I'm gonna use 4B. Now we'll start detailing it a little bit. See, as you can see, this is the visor. I'm going to detail or darken the edges of the visor. Now this visor, to show the depth, I'm going to add a bezel as well inside. Now the bezel is going to be both ends connected with a small curve. It doesn't need to be perfect, as it's just a bezel. And then we need to darken the mask as well. The And then as you can see, I'm not darkening it a lot also, but I'm just darkening it enough so that we'll understand the contrast, and it will be very helpful for us to let's say understand why the dark shades or the light shades are gonna be placed. Now if you're darkening it like this, as you can see I smudged over there, I'll just erase it and try again. You need to be very careful for this. As you can see, I'm darkening the whole mask. See, at this point you understand where the dark shades are gonna be, where the light shades are gonna be. So that's why. Then at the edges of the mask, in the insides, at the edges, you need to curve it so that there is gonna be no let's say roughness or yeah, roughness to the mask. Now let's go to the nose, and the nose, it's going to be pretty flat at the bottom, as you can see. Now I'm gonna add small folds to make it a bit realistic, and I'm gonna connect it to the mask to make the nose more masculine. Now as you can see, this looks like a baby nose, so we're gonna add more masculineness, as this character is pretty masculine. I'm gonna draw two straight lines and two let's say cross lines, so it looks more masculine. Then I'm going to add two folds at the side so that it will look like it has been like the skin has been folded. Now now in a normal human being, in you as well, below the lip you can see the skin folding, so let's add that skin fold as well. Now slowly we'll proceed down, then we'll draw our lips. Now lips is really hard to draw, as you can see, even I messed it up two or three times. It's okay, two or three times. It's okay if you see, if you see. Now if you add in lips, okay, if you let's say point it out at the end, it's going to look very feminine, and it's not gonna look very nice on a masculine character. That's why you need to angle it down straight so that it look more masculine. You've seen this lip is not symmetrical, so I'll erase it and I'll redo it so that we can uh, we can get the best shape of our. It's okay. You can length this procedure out as much as you want, but getting the perfect lip is important. Now below the lip, as you can see, I've added two small folds to make it look more realistic. Now I'm getting rid of some, and I again added those two folds at the bottom. Now we're gonna darken the jawline. This jawline is important, so the ends of the jawline, or where the ends of the jawline, you need to make it look sharp but also curved. It should be the mix of both. Just just little curve but more sharpness, that will give our character more masculinity. Now we add these two now we need to angle this mask holder thing outside, slowly curve it. When we come to the bottom, just angle it out, then that will look more nice and it will look well defined. Now at the head, we'll just add another curve inside the ear holders. Then slowly we need to curve the top of the head. So now before I shape this head, it looked like a ball, but as you see, adding small imperfections at the edges, it will make our ball look more like a head. Now we need to darken the shoulder or collarbones as well. Now Now we'll draw the bottom part of the Adam's apple as well to make it look more masculine, of course. Now, as we are done, the second stage of our drawing, we'll go ahead, we'll erase the remaining guidelines possible, and this will be the last stage where you can erase your guidelines, as the next stage would be shading. Now we take our 4B pencil, and then we add, oh yeah, I forgot to tell this, we add two folds, as if at the top of the eyebrow you have a small fold. All this we've done to make it look realistic. This part you can do 4B, or you can take 4B or 6B. I recommend to take you all to take 4B, as it will come in a controlled nature. Again we go back, we thicken lines up, and then we add more contrast to it. You see, the full mask alone, the outline is going to be very thick, so that it will be differentiated from the face. So the mask should be a little bit chunky or some big. Now inside the visors, now shading, we use butter paper or normal paper so that we don't smudge it. Slowly, and then we thicken the lines out. See, as I come to the edge, I curve it. I don't make it sharp, so that, of course, so that the lines differentiate from the face and the mask. And I make the lines thick everywhere and not in a particular place, so that it look more chunky. See, look how I use the paper so that I won't smudge the drawing. Now I now at this point we just make everything thick. All the outlines necessary, we make it thick, more bold, and then this point also you can give it a small shape, but remember, do not change the shape, or it will be very hard to rectify if you made any mistake. Look how I'm making small imperfections at the head area, so it will look like a head and not a circle or a ball. And then it's important to connect the head with the inner circle and not the outer circle. And I darken the ear holder as well, or the ear cup. Then when I come down, I darken the jawline as well, so it looks like it's more bold, and then it looks good to see. And then just add a small thick line on the chin, so that it will give more contrast. See, now you can observe the difference from now and before. I'm just adding small little shading below the eyebrow folds. Now I'm giving the mask thingy little shape, so that it doesn't look too perfect. Now near the nose, I just darken that up as well, and I add an extra fold to make it look more realistic and natural as possible. And now I thicken the lip as well, just add a thick thick shading in the upper lip. Then I make it look more, let's say, angular. Now we'll take the neck part, we'll darken it up as well, and on both sides. Then we take the Adam's apple fold, we do that also to make it more look more angular, we add two L shape, somewhat L shape lines, then we darken the shoulders as well. Now we take these two. Now we take the paper again and then we shade the inside visor. So in the visor, it should, both the ends should be dark, and then as it comes to the middle it should be basically white. As you can see, from dark I'm slowly gradually bringing it to a white. And then areas like this, and if it's in the middle, if it's white, you don't need to leave it white. As it look, you've left the drawing incomplete. Just add two or three strokes that will make it look like a small, like a, let's say, small complete procedure. Okay, now in the bezel you just add small shading, and then in the bezel as well just leave it little bit white in the middle. Now we go to, now because this nose is casting a shadow, we add the shadow of the nose as well. And then in the nose it needs to be pretty even so that it won't look incomplete. Now in the two, on these two sides of the straps, first we need it to be pretty dark at the bottom, and as you bring it down you slowly shade it in as well. Please remember to use the side of the pencil. It doesn't matter how you hold the pencil. As you can see, I'm holding the pencil itself in a pretty awkward position, but nobody cares. Then and the same thing as the other side, from dark slowly slowly bring it to the edge, slowly and lightly. And then and then the head itself is gonna cast a shadow, as our source of light is on top of the head of this character. So, and then again we need to make this shadow pretty even. First we make it pretty even, and the areas near the jawline we are going to darken it up so it looks like a more realistic shadow and not a cartoony shadow. Then as you can see, I'm just thickening those lines as well. Then we darken the areas near the jawline as well to give it more definition as we require. You can darken it however you like, but slowly bringing it to the edge with a very lighter or a subtle shade. As you can see, all the shadows are going to be very subtle in the face region. Now we add the shadow of the visor. The visor will be pretty, it will cast a pretty small shadow as the light source is on top of the head. Just a little shadow to just differentiate it, and we add two small folds to make it more realistic. Then here I'm gonna add another highlight, just darkening it inside the highlight. Same thing on the other side, add a small highlight and darken it inside. And then as you can see in the second fold, I make the other bezel and then I extend it into the same head shape, but not fully. Okay, this is the shadow of the head. This, as you can see, make it curve it into a moon like shape. Remember, it should be connected. It doesn't need to be perfect, but yeah, all shadows are not perfect. Then then at this point you need to know where to add dark shadows or light shadows, so that if you mess anything up you can erase it and do later. So, and this is going to be the full shadow by itself. So look what I'm doing. I'm slowly bringing the shadow together with, first I do the light shades, then I do the dark shade, and in the middle I'm gonna leave it pretty much empty or plain. Then at the edge I am again darkening it up. So your character or your drawing is gonna look 10 times more better if you do the shadows and shading perfectly. As you see the half, let's say egg shape kind of thing, half egg shape kind of thing, you can see it's like an outline. You don't want that outline to be shown. So let's just blend it in, and then you do this cross hatching kind of thing, so it look more blended in, and it will give you more angular style on the forehead. Now we go back to the visor. Now this visor is pretty important, and now as this character's visor is pretty reflective and it's black, we are going to add reflections. So this reflections is pretty important. So you need to copy the same shape as me, and we need to leave narrow space between the reflection and the edge. You see, it doesn't look like a reflection now only, but after you've done the shading, after you've done the small minor adjustments, it will look like a shadow. Now look how I'm going to curve it, so it won't look like another piece but a reflection by itself. As you see, the line is not incomplete, and at the edge you fold it inside. Now in the shading, I darken it outside, and slowly but subtly, and I'm bringing it inside with a small lighter shade. In the middle of these two lines, I again darken it in the bottom, and slowly I again darken it at the top, and I bring it down with a light shade. If you feel like these shades are not enough, you can darken it a little bit more this side or that side. Then in the middle I darken it up at the top, and then slowly bring it at the bottom. Then now we do the same thing at the bottom as well. In between those two lines we connect the end, and then slowly we shade it in. Remember, your speed doesn't matter, you just need to do it perfectly. And then connect these two shadows. As you see, it doesn't look like a reflection by itself. Now we need to add the angularness to the ends of this reflection. So I darken the ends of this reflection with again 4B pencil by itself. I just, let's say, bend the ends of this reflection, and the top ends of this and the bottom ends of this lines, I darken it, or I thicken at the bottom. I thickened it at the bottom so that it will look more finished, or like more connected to the mask. And now I do some small minor adjustments to the shadows, and I add another lip fold. Then I bring the shadow down. Then now see, as you see, this chin looks pretty broad. To make it small, I add a small line, and then I draw a small let's semicircle, and then I just shade it to make it look like it's like a shadow. Then I again add some small strokes to it. Then our full face part is complete, and then we add small shadows to the shoulders. Then we do the same thing on the other side. And as we come to the end of this lesson, I just do small minor adjustments, and that is gonna be the end of our lesson. Thank you for watching my videos, and if you have reached this far, please hit the like and subscribe button. Thank you so much for watching.